Welcome. If you are enrolled in the IGNOU MBA in Agribusiness Management program, then MAMP-060 is the one course that finally turns all your study into a degree in your hand. In this complete guide, we will walk through the IGNOU MBAABM project from start to finish, what MAMP-060 really is, how to choose a topic, how to write and get your synopsis approved, the full report structure, submission, the Viva, and exactly how it is evaluated. I am BK Sahni, and on this channel we have guided IGNOU students since 2010. Let us begin. Here is our plan. First, we set the facts, what the MBA in Agribusiness Management program is, and where MAMP-060 sits. Then, 6 common myths that quietly get projects rejected. After that, the synopsis, an original worked example, the full report structure, submission, the Viva, and the real value of this degree. We keep it focused only on the MAMP-060 project, and we cross-link the synopsis, topics, and formatting videos rather than repeat them. Let us start with the numbers that matter. The project code is MAMP-060. It carries 8 credits, which is why it is treated as equal to 2 courses. It sits in semester 3 of the program, not at the very end. And the final report runs about 50 to 60 pages. One important point up front. This MBA is run by IGNOU School of Agriculture, not the management school. Keep that in mind. It changes where your work goes. Now, where does the project fit? The full MBA in Agribusiness Management program has 28 courses and 116 credits, spread across 4 semesters. Semesters 1 and 2 are your core management courses. Semester 3 carries 6 agribusiness specialization courses, and along with them, MAMP-060, the project. Semester 4 finishes the specialization, so the project is a 3rd semester course, not a final semester one. That single fact matters, because synopsis approval alone can take 2 to 3 months. Start early. Before we build anything, let us clear the ground. There are 6 myths floating around on third-party websites about the MBA in Agribusiness Management project, and each one quietly gets students rejected or delayed. If you fix these 6, you are already ahead of most learners. Let us go through them one by one. Myth 1. Many websites list the MBA in Agribusiness Management under the School of Management Studies. That is simply wrong. The IGNOU MBAABM program is run by the School of Agriculture. Why does this matter so much? Because your project code, your guidelines, and even where you send your work all come from the School of Agriculture handbook, not from the general MBA rules. Get the school right and everything downstream falls into place. The Part 2. Myth 2. The general IGNOU MBA project is MMPP001, and students copy that code out of habit. But for the MBA in Agribusiness Management, the project course is MAMP-060. A different course, in a different school. So write MAMP-060 clearly on every document and on the envelope. A wrong code can route your proposal to the wrong desk and cost you weeks of waiting. Myth 3. You will see third-party sites throwing around figures like 80, 100, even 120 pages. The MBAABM handbook is specific. The report should be about 50 to 60 double-spaced typed pages, not exceeding roughly 18,000 words excluding appendices and exhibits. Reasonable variation on either side is fine, but a bloated 100-page report is padding, not depth. Aim for tight, well-analyzed work that answers your objectives. Myth 4 is a costly one. Some sites tell you to submit to your study center. Others say send it to the IGNOU head office in Delhi. For the MBA in Agribusiness Management, both are wrong. Your synopsis and your final report both go to the regional director of your own regional center. by registered post, speed post, or by hand. The MBAABM guide does not mention an online upload for the project, so always confirm the current route with your regional center before you send anything. Myth 5. A lot of learners panic believing that a Viva Voce is compulsory for everyone. For MAMP-060, that is not the case. A student may be asked to appear for a Viva only if the evaluator recommends it, and the regional center will inform you if that happens. So prepare for it quietly, but do not assume it. The bulk of your result rests on a clear, honest, well-analyzed report. Myth 6, and this one is subtle. Some students quietly tweak or improve the project title when they finally submit the report. You cannot do that. The final report must carry the exact title that the evaluator approved. No change is allowed at the submission stage. If your study genuinely shifts direction, get the new title approved first through a fresh proposal. Never rename it silently, or the report can be rejected. Let us recap the 6 in one screen. It is the School of Agriculture, not the Management School. The code is MAMP-060, not MMPP-001. The report is 50 to 60 pages, not 100. You submit to the regional director, not to head office. The Viva is conditional, and the approved title is locked. Fix these 6, and you have already avoided the most common reasons projects come back rejected. Part 3. Now that the ground is clear, let us understand what this project actually is. Because once you know what the examiner is looking for, every later step becomes easier. So what is the project for? The basic purpose of MAMP-060 is to help you apply multidisciplinary concepts, tools, and techniques to analyze and logically approach a real organizational problem. Your study should be on a topic preferably from the area of agribusiness management, the field you have trained in for 2 years. Remember the shape of it. It is a research study with clear objectives, a method, real data, and analysis. Not a summary, not an essay, and definitely not a design drawing. The handbook lets you pick one of 3 kinds of study. The first is a comprehensive case study, a single organization or one functional area problem taken through formulation, analysis, and recommendations. The second is an inter-organisational study, comparing organizations, validating a theory, or surveying management practices across firms. The third is a field or empirical study, collecting primary data from the field, from farmers, traders, or agri-firms, and analyzing it. Most agribusiness students choose a field study, and we will build our example around that. One more myth deserves clearing here, because the word agriculture appears in the program name. Some students hand in soil tests, crop trials, or farming manuals. Stop. The examiner wants a management study. The marketing, supply chain, finance, policy, or operations of agribusiness, not the agronomy itself. Strong topics ask how agribusiness is managed. Prices, margins, adoption, efficiency, procurement, quality. Not how a crop is physically grown. With the shape clear, the first real step is choosing a topic. We will keep this light here because topic selection has its own detailed video. But here are the essentials you need for MAMP-060. 5 quick rules for a strong topic. 1. Pick a narrow, specific problem you can actually study in one district or a handful of firms. 2. Make sure primary data is reachable, whether that is farmers, traders, a cooperative, or an agri-company. 3. Stay inside agribusiness management, marketing, supply chain, finance, policy, or operations. 4. Confirm the topic lets you write clear, measurable objectives. 5. Check it as original and not a topic done to death. For a full menu of ideas, see our MBAABM Project Topics video. If you are hunting for a direction, 3 areas are especially rich: agri-marketing, consumer behavior, branding, price realization, and market channels; supply chain, value chains, post-harvest loss, cold chain, procurement and logistics, and agri-finance and policy, farm credit, crop insurance, farmer-producer organizations, subsidies, and the impact of government schemes. Any one of these can carry a strong, examinable MAMP-060 project. Now to the single most important gate in this whole process, the synopsis. Get this right, and the rest of the project runs smoothly. Here is the rule you cannot skip. The synopsis is your project proposal, and only after it is approved can the actual project work begin. It must be your own original work, prepared in consultation with your guide. Why be so careful? Because work done before approval can be wasted. If the topic or the method is rejected, you may have to start again. So wait for the written go-ahead before you collect a single data point. So what goes inside the synopsis? Start with a short introduction, the background to your subject, then the rationale, why you chose this particular topic, then the objectives, which are the heart of the proposal, clear, precise, and written in neutral, measurable terms, without assuming your findings. Next, the research methodology, your research design, the nature and source of your data, your sample and sampling technique, and the tools and statistical methods you will use. Finally, state the limitations of the study honestly. That is a complete, approvable synopsis. 2 documents must travel with your synopsis. First, the proforma for approval of project proposal for MAMP-060, signed and dated by both you and your guide. Second, your guide's detailed biodata, signed in original, showing their qualifications and experience. This is where many proposals fail. If either the signed proforma or the signed biodata is missing, the synopsis is not even entertained. So check twice before you seal the envelope. And where does it go? Send the completed proforma, 1 copy of the proposal, and the signed biodata to the regional director of your respective regional center. Write MAMP-060 prominently on top of the envelope so it is sorted correctly. You will find your regional center's address on the IGNOU website. Keep a copy of everything you send. Who can be your guide? The eligibility is broad but specific. You can choose IGNOU faculty from the Schools of Agriculture and Management, or an approved MBAABM or MBA academic counselor with relevant experience. You can also choose an outside expert, someone with 3 years of postgraduate teaching or 5 years of research, industry, or extension experience in the relevant subject. 1 tip: pick a guide whose specialization matches your topic. A food business project needs a food business specialist. 3 quick numbers about the guide. A single guide can supervise at most 5 MAMP-060 students at any one time. The university pays the guide a token honorarium of 500 rupees. And after your proposal reaches the regional center, you can expect a written reply on approval or non-approval within about 2 to 3 months. If your proposed guide is not approved, you simply change the guide and submit a fresh proposal with the new signature. Timing matters as much as content. You register for MAMP-060 in semester 3, and then you can submit your synopsis. Try to submit it within 6 months of registering. If it arrives much later, the regional center cannot promise timely disposal. And give yourself 8 to 9 months to actually finish the project before your 4th semester deadline. Plan backwards from that date, and you will never be caught short. Theory is easier to hold when you see it applied. So let us build one clean, original example, end to end, that you can use as a template for your own MAMP-060 project. Here is our worked example. The title: A Study of Marketing Efficiency and Price Realization for Smallholder Tomato Farmers in Kolar District, Karnataka. Notice why it works. It is narrow and local, the data is reachable, and it sits squarely inside Agribusiness Management. It is a textbook field study for MAMP-060. Let us turn it into a proposal. The objectives are the heart of any proposal, so we keep them clear and measurable. 1. To study the marketing channels used by smallholder tomato farmers in Kolar. 2. To measure marketing efficiency and the farmer's share in the consumer rupee. 3. To identify the factors affecting price realization for these farmers. 4. To suggest practical measures to improve efficiency and price realization. 4 objectives, each one answerable with data. Now the method. This is a field study. We survey around 120 tomato farmers across selected villages using a structured questionnaire, and we add a few traders and commission agents to see the whole channel. For analysis, we use price spread, marketing margins, and the farmer's share in the consumer rupee. Simple, honest measures, each tied directly to an objective. That is the golden rule. If a statistic does not answer an objective, it does not belong in the report. What might the study reveal? First, it maps the channels. Which routes farmers actually use, whether direct, through the mandi, or through commission agents. Second, it measures efficiency, showing where the farmer's share leaks away in the price spread. Third, it finds the drivers, what actually lifts or lowers the price a farmer finally realizes. Each finding maps back to one of our 4 objectives. And the payoff: good recommendations follow directly from the data, never from opinion. In our example, the findings might point towards stronger farmer-producer organizations or better market information to raise the farmer's share of the final price. This is exactly what earns marks. A clean line from objective to data to finding to a recommendation the reader can actually act on. Build your own project the same way. With the study done, it is time to write the report. A clear structure here does half the work of impressing your evaluator. Here is the skeleton the handbook expects. Chapter 1. Introduction and review of literature with the background of the organization or area under study, the problem, objectives and scope, then research methodology, design, data, sample and tools, then results and discussion, your tables, graphs and interpretation, then a summary and conclusion, followed by recommendations drawn from the findings, then the limitations and any scope for further research, and finally your references and annexures, including the questionnaire you used. Now the format numbers. The report runs about 50 to 60 pages, not exceeding roughly 18,000 words, excluding appendices. It is typed on A4 paper, double-spaced in a properly bound volume. And you send exactly 1 copy. Keep a personal copy for yourself because the report you submit is evaluated and never returned. Some documents must be bound inside the report itself. A cover page with your name, enrollment number, your guide's name, and the approved title, a detailed table of contents with page numbers, and every single page numbered to match. The approved proposal. That is the proforma and the guide's bio data. Bound into the report, not stapled. A report with a merely stapled proposal is not accepted. And a signed certificate of originality from both you and your guide, with dates. Let me flag 2 small rules that cause big rejections. First, the report title must exactly match the approved title. No last-minute edits, however tempting. Second, the approved proposal must be bound into the report, never stapled. Honestly, these 2 tiny details bounce back more reports than weak analysis ever does. Check both the day before you post. Your report is written and bound. Now let us send it in the right way, to the right place, at the right time. Where and how? Send 1 bound copy to the regional director of your respective regional center by registered post, speed post, or by hand. On top of the envelope, write, in capitals, Project Report, MAMP-060. That label helps the regional center sort your report to the right desk. Once it is received, you are allotted a project report number. Quote that number in any later correspondence. Timing decides when you are marked. You can submit the report any time in the year, but the window matters. If you submit between the 1st of December and the 31st of May, your result is declared with the June term-end examination. If you submit between the 1st of June and the 30th of November, your result comes with the December term-end examination. So plan your submission around the result you are aiming for. And the Viva. As we said, it happens only if the evaluator recommends it, and the regional center will inform you. If you are called, keep it simple. Be ready to explain your objectives, your method, your data, and your findings in your own words with your report in hand. A short, honest 5-minute walkthrough of your own study is all it takes. If you did the work yourself, there is nothing to fear. Part 7. Finally, let us talk about how the project is marked, and the question every learner really wants answered. Is this degree worth it? First, how is it marked? For the project course, evaluation rests on the project report you submit. There is no separate assignment or written exam for MAMP-060. You pass by clearing the required grade, and in IGNOU scale, 40% is the minimum pass band. A clear, well-analyzed, honest report is what carries you comfortably across that line. Now the question learners ask most: is it recognized? Yes. IGNOU is a central university, UGC recognized, accredited with the highest NAACA++ grade, and ranked first in the NIRF Open and Distance category. All its programs are AICTE approved. So your MBA in Agribusiness Management degree is valid for private sector, public sector, and government roles alike. But is it worth it? For the right person, clearly yes. The MBA in Agribusiness Management program is flexible, affordable, and built for both fresh graduates and working people in agriculture and allied sectors, and the project is the real value inside it. It hands you a genuine, field-tested piece of research that you can actually show an employer. If you work in or near agribusiness, this degree, plus a real project, is a strong and practical credential. And where does it lead? Graduates move into agribusiness firms, agri-input, food processing, commodity and export companies. They work in banks and cooperatives on agri-lending and with farmer-producer organizations, and many head into government and policy roles, into NGOs, or into their own agri-startups. This is a qualitative picture, not a salary promise. But the direction is genuinely wide. Let us close with the question students actually type. Is the MAMP-060 Viva compulsory? No. It is held only if the evaluator recommends it, and your regional center tells you. How long should the MBAABM report be? About 50 to 60 double-space pages, not exceeding roughly 18,000 words, excluding appendices. Part 8. 2 more. Where do I submit the synopsis and the report? Both go to the regional director of your regional center. Not the study center and not head office. Can I change the title before final submission? No. The final report must carry the exact title the evaluator approved. And the last 2. How many students can one guide supervise? Up to 5 MAMP-060 students at any one time. And is MBAABM run by the management school? No. It is run by IGNOU School of Agriculture, and your project follows its guidelines. Remember that, and the whole process makes sense. Let us recap the whole journey in one screen. The code is MAMP-060. Register in semester 3 and start early. Keep the report 50 to 60 pages. Submit to the regional director. Approve the synopsis first. Keep it a management study. Lock the title. Send one bound copy. And defend it calmly if you are asked. Do that. And MAMP-060 is very manageable. If you want to go deeper, we have focused guides on this channel. One on MBAABM project topics, with a full menu of ideas. one on the MBAABM Synopsis on writing the proposal that gets approved, and one on the universal IGNOU project format. Margins, references, and binding. Watch those next to round out your MAMP-060 preparation. Need a hand along the way? For personalized help with your MBAABM Synopsis or your MAMP-060 project report, message us on WhatsApp at +91 93546 37830. We have guided IGNOU students since 2010. Accurately, honestly, and always pointing you back to the official sources. Always verify the current rules, dates, and fees on the IGNOU website, and with your regional center. We guide. The university decides. That brings us to the end. You now have the full picture of the IGNOU MBAABM project for MAMP-060, from the first myth to the final Viva. If this helped, do like the video and subscribe to Shri Chakradhar Education so the next student finds it too. Keep it handy, follow it step by step, and your project will move smoothly. This is BK Sahni. All the best with your MAMP-060 project.